Let me explain something else to you. See, you ever seen the movie Scorpion King? When the guy, the when the guy, the Acadian got with the sorceress, he took her from Memnon. I'm Memnon. I'm the real Memnon. I'm the real Nimrod. But he took her from Memnon, and then she told him, she was like, "Yo, if I'm with you," she was like, "I won't have my powers. I won't be able to see no more." And then he said, "Nothing lasts forever." That's what he told her. And then I was like, "Oh my God, I couldn't believe that." And then she tried to, one day we were in the house, me and the soldier in the house, and she was like, "If I'm with you, I won't have my power." I was like, "You won't need your power." You won't need. I told her, I was like, "You won't need your power." She's like, "What you mean you won't need your power?" I was like, I should look at it like, where do you think you got it from? You know what I'm saying? So like, you're gonna have your power still. She was like, "Yo, she was basic at the time when I was with the sorceress. We didn't have children, so she used to tell me if I sleep with you and then we have children, I'm not gonna have my power because she was like the children that's around us gonna end up taking the power away." And I was like, "Whoa, we'll just be okay," because they didn't know the difference between their mother and my wife. That was that looked similar to their mother, and then they didn't know the difference in the sequences in the physical reality. That was the inner empress at the time of a certain type of way, and I was regarding her. And then we didn't have children a certain type of way because my wife, she was a vitalness to the acknowledgement of the higher quality of my wife at the time. So I didn't have children with her a certain time because of my wife's martial arts. But the Acadian nigga went and he wanted to do certain things because he didn't know the difference. Other people that don't know what's going on went and did stupid things. So the people's like, she's like a form of power. And you just come tell me that. She'll be like, yeah, all right. But the Acadian nigga getting with her caused it was like the deterioration of her physical reality that weakened the physics of her martial arts and her magic and her mythology. So in the next movie, remember, I was Matthias. I was Matthias, the reason of the you know Matthias' real dad. So Matthias, they said I died. I went to hell. And they were like, "Yo, yeah, Matthias, your dad died. He passed away and went to hell." But Matthias didn't know what was going on with me a certain type of way. He didn't know about my wife a certain type of way, and I was regarding her humanity of her mythology of her humane condition and habitation, also dealing with her at another region, out of a point of her existence. Individuals had to overcome that because Matthias, in the second one, because Matthias had to find out why I had to go to hell to go handle the situation. Matthias thought I died, but I didn't die. I was just showing him at the time I was in a higher realm a certain type of way, and be careful because other individuals already tried to get at his sorceress a certain type of way, and then she went off, and then she was gonna be put away, and then my wife Hell was already mad that what was going on with the sorceress and the Acadian nigga, so it was causing a form of controversy, and my wife had to regard because my wife was the point of one of the education, so she got real worried when it came to them individuals getting together a certain type of way because she was in charge of that sequencing of events of a time in the reflection of reality and the elder of the reason of the instruction for the obstruction from one's habitation and one's orientation. So she was kind of worried about the situation at the time because they let my wife appointed her to be in charge for certain reasons at certain times. So I had to go be with her because my comfortability of my empress and my wife, my literal wife. I'm saying my empress because when people I'm still of regard, but I could be front with you in 2,000 years of affection. It's really my wife, but I say my empress because I'm always her regard, regardless of what. I'm the husband, so I'm the one that goes to make sure everything's okay. Because if you don't honor me, and I'm the beginning of the ball for her physics, that means you would never honor her. So I just know. So and then on top of it, then in Scorpion King Part 3, that was the other sorceress and the sorceress and Liv went wrong because she wanted to. It was like a restaurant order. She was trying to obtain magic from the other mythology realm in Scorpion King Part 3, and because the individuals are saying they were using the Book of the Dead, but was calling individuals from another book, and they were just studying individuals a certain type of way because they were trying to learn the forms of regardment a certain type of way when it came. We tried to learn the forms of regardment when it came another type of way. So an individual had to know about the habitation of certain things a certain type of way in the physical reality. And it caused a certain type of way. So in the movie, another individual didn't realize the habitation because when 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 individuals you gotta get individuals a certain type of way when they do certain things, it causes a certain type of physical reality a certain type of way, and then an individual doesn't know the reason of a habitation when it came to the physical. So, when the individuals try to call individuals out the book at a certain time, it was like a restaurant call because remember the sorceress at the time already went off, and then individuals were repairing at another region because the higher obstruction of the instruction of one's habitation was being dealt with a certain type of way at the time. So then next thing you know, the individual it's just like there was a calendar called Era at a time that was had the first calendar was Era Light, and they were of real high of mythical mythology when it came to like real respiration and resuscitation a certain type of way. Then you had stone men, which was the foundation of one's natural obligation before or of one's inner obligation of reality, and then you had the third calendar of the reason of one's revenue of the physical reality, and then you had the fourth calendar, honor and honesty. The fifth calendar was like a form of endurance, but it was like a sacredism, a certain way. It wasn't really Mushu, but it was like a sacredism leading up to certain events of Mushu. And then you had the sixth calendar was the vitalness, and then you had the seventh calendar, the miracle. The eighth calendar was Mushu, and the ninth calendar was Kalambe, the real regard. So individuals that didn't know what was going on at the time because of their ignorance and stuff, that caused individuals to be a form of foolishness. Because if a person was of honesty, their foundation has to be set. So it's like if somebody passes, listen to this, if somebody is doing zombie magic and somebody passes away and they give you a word, if a person is like an elder person, like higher in reality, like I'm gonna give you an example. Say somebody's higher in reality and they go call an individual, a lower individual trying to cause another individual of higher reality. That causes a demoralization in the physical, and that's gonna lead up into physics. And then individuals have to go about life a certain type of way unless the individual is able to maintain to correct the situation while they're going forward. If not able to correct the situation, then there's going to be another type of situation. Now, I'm gonna show you, for instance, like if I'm the one, I'm the reason of world existence, the space emperor himself, me, Ralph and JR. I'm the reason of one's even obligation in the celestial orbit of the physical reality. So now, if an individual at a time, say they go do something off and say I go into like some type of habitational uh rejuvenation for one's healing, just like you ever seen the movie um Ninja Assassin, right? You ever seen the movie? So imagine if somebody goes into a natural habitation of a certain type of way of the physical reality, and an individual is over here like, why the niggas not getting up a certain type of way? The person can't call me. The only person that could really call me is a literal astrological empress or that beyond the highest. Only the crown could call me. Beyond the highest, the quantum, mega, super, astrological, celestial, and celestial, or celestial, or inner point of enlightenment, or star empress, or star clusters, astrology empresses, and then you got the constellation empresses and the sacred zodiac. But the only one that can call me is the real empresses themselves, and it has to be also the crown. Has to be what? Because the reason being is if I'm say something happened in astrology and I go up in space and something happens, I gotta heal my habitation to my reality, to my conscience a certain way for the enlightenment, for the empress, but for her survival. So for her to call me, say it's taking too long for me to get to her a certain type of way, she has to come to me and literally reflect on me to call her so I can get up like, yo, what's up? Because if there's a point, I'm gonna get up like, yeah, yo, what's going on? What happened? What happened? And I'm gonna deal with the situation. But if it's not a whole point, I'm gonna stay within the natural habitation until it's time for me to revive a certain type of way. Then I'll go out and deal with the situation the way I want to go deal with it. Now, the Empress wonders about situations like this because I'm higher than all the Empresses, of even the space Empresses. So I have to literally heal my habitation for her in preciseness, and even in a form for her physical reality, for survival of the planet, the solar system, and the galaxy, the universe. So for the space and gravity, and for the force of the planet to stay in orbit. So even when I lay down, is like a form of mythology also, because it gives the planet a time to act, to be on a level of access to a foundation of a foundation of the high mythology for one's resuscitation of the physical reality, for the acknowledgement for individuals could go be okay in a terrestrial orbit or celestial orbit at the time, or depending on their social economics at the time. So this is the reason why. It's just like if a person, well, say somebody goes off and then does call somebody, it's going to deteriorate that person's reality a certain type of way. So that person has to know the preciseness of that person's physics and of their regimen before they go handle something. It's just like I was telling you of the Scorpion King, the part 3, when individuals had to be aware of what was going on, because if individuals were on point, it could cause the stagnation of their reality, and to their upliftment of the reason of their high mythology or the high force of their celestial being would have to be able to handle the situations and the tasks for them to rise a certain type of way. But if a person's not a person of their word, and it takes a thing of real honesty to do something. So if a person is of foul reality and they do something, you'll notice the destructiveness, and it'll be like how can I say this, a deterioration or a struggle with one's natural habitation, with one's consciousness to what things are happening in reality, because the choices one has to make. So one has to know how real situations are. So, I just got to tell you so one could be aware before anybody gets themselves caught up in other situations they don't know about. But loved one, I've had to tell you this, how real situations is. This is why when a man is of a quality and a reason of etiquette of one's militants, one has to know there has to be a real honesty for the future equality a certain type of way, unless somebody's doing a form of entrapment. And then one has to know how to be wise dealing with the situation when dealing with their own reality, and then on top of it, how can I say this, bypassing or literally disconnecting from those type of individuals when it comes to the quality of their habitation to their natural current of their universal laws or laws of attraction. Love one.